Hello and welcome to Section 6 on ICT for Disaster Response. The objectives of the session are, first, to provide an overview of disaster response management, and second, to emphasize how ICT can provide supporting information for disaster response. So let's start with a review of the characteristics of disasters. In general, disaster events will usually be relatively unexpected. It will involve substantial distress and trauma. It has a potentially overwhelming scale of effects and has the possibility for becoming worse if appropriate action is not taken. So what is disaster response? It is a set of activities that we use to deal with the effects of a specific disaster event. The stages of response are initiation, mobilization, and stand down. Activities include search and rescue, evacuation, medical care, provision of emergency water, food, and shelter, debris removal, the stabilization of unsafe buildings and landforms. So what are the requirements in disaster response? It requires key personnel to undertake the following. Identify the range of problems. Set priorities, what to do first, whom to help first. Generate the appropriate solutions to identified problems. Implement agreed solutions within very tight timelines. Monitor and review the situation and actions taken so far. And finally, keep comprehensive records of information received, decisions taken, and actions performed. So there are challenges in response management. First of all, large numbers of personnel and agencies are needed. There will be high levels of controversy, of public interest. There's a possibility for information to be mishandled. There's a potential for some key tasks to be underlooked or under-resourced, while others are over-resourced. And finally, there's a potential for some available resources to be unused, unutilized. So then, what we need is to have a tight control over what needs to be done, what resources you have at hand in order to perform the task. So now we go to how response is managed. We recommend that there is a disaster response coordination center. It's a facility. Here you can manage the crisis. It should be adequately equipped and staffed, and close enough to the event, but far away enough not to be affected by the hazard. The center should have an information management group. Its role will be to collect and store and distribute information to the response personnel. They should also disseminate information to the public when needed and as appropriately decided by the coordination center. And it can serve as media liaison to maintain regular contact with the press and to distribute information accordingly. The Information Management Group will also maintain the equipment of the center. These will include telephones, local wireline distribution, wireless systems, cellular networks, and private networks such as radio, satellite phone, and VSAT. Now, the latest ICT developments also help in response management. For example, we now have available near real-time satellite imagery, and there are agreements among the countries to share satellite imagery whenever there is a nation that is in distress requiring this. We can also geotag photos using special cameras or phones to give their locations as they're taken. Now we have direct access to the internet and online mapping portals, even on handheld machines. So these are very portable and can be taken to response sites. Finally, we have a volunteer community on Google Mapmaker, OpenStreetMap, Ushahidi, Twitter, and Facebook. The volunteers here can help process requests for help and donations to the afflicted sites. So the latest ICT have been helping to improve the scale at which response can be made and to control the manner in which it is undertaken. Now I'd like to show you just a couple of examples of applications of ICTs in actual response. The first is a case study of the Humanitarian Supplies Management System, or SUMA. This system manages donated supplies, and we are talking bulk of relief goods, shelter equipment, food, medicines, and you have to manage these. So the system classifies them at point of entry, and then it can use a system of tagging or barcodes so that the packages are given unique identification. And then through this identification, it is possible to monitor where they are stored and if or when they are distributed and to where they were taken. It also allows you to prioritize the distribution of these supplies. And it can be driven from a central unit, which can be connected to the field unit and to a stock management warehouse. The next case study is the Emergency Management Information System being used in New Zealand. So here they are able to keep track of the messages that they send via email and other methods, the tasks that are undertaken and the responses that were made to a crisis. This way they can review the decisions that they had undertaken and the timelines in which these were made. They also keep a library of procedures or standard operating procedures so that if they need to refer to a document when they are given a situation that they're not familiar with, then it's easy for them to access it through this library. Finally, the system has letter and mail merge capabilities. So what are the points to remember when it comes to ICT applications and disaster response? First, let's remember that disaster events will be quite unexpected, dynamic in nature. It is unfolding. So response management is facilitated by having a way of coordinating this. And this method is best done through a specific coordination group and center. And then the group should have a sub-specialization for information management. And finally, ICT can support the quick relay of information from the field to the coordination center and vice versa. So I hope you found the potential for ICT in response very interesting and that you will continue to pursue the subject. If you go online, you will find other examples of when ICTs were used for assisting in response. And lately, Twitter and Facebook have been more and more coming into play as ICTs. Thank you very much.